A pleasant good morning all to our listening and viewing audience. Welcome to the Virtual Energy Fair organized by the Ministry of Public Infrastructure and Utilities. We will be having a suite of videos presented today as well as discussions with the energy units, Skelec, Nevlec, the developers for North Star and Leclanche. We will begin first by a suite of videos that were presented by the CARICOM Secretariat and our academia. Please do join us and enjoy the videos.
Our CARICOM, home to an eclectic mix of people and cultures, united by an abundance of natural resources, fueled by the sun and boundless seas. As small island developing states, we face the immense challenges of energy, economy, and climate. Our dependence on fossil fuels exposes us to price volatility, increases our carbon footprint, and threatens our social and economic development. CARICOM member states continue to endure extreme weather events which devastate communities and industries, decimate energy infrastructure, and undermine regional budgets. COVID-19 has placed additional strain on our economies and communities, exposing the many inefficiencies and inequities that exist, as well as the need to accelerate the transition to climate-resilient energy systems in the Caribbean. We at CARICOM Energy continue to work with passion and determination to secure a sustainable future for the Caribbean community. In collaboration with the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, key regional institutions, and our development partners, we are reimagining and re-engineering the region's energy systems. Our goal is to increase and improve access to modern, affordable, and sustainable energy services to the benefit of all Caribbean citizens, especially the most vulnerable. November is CARICOM Energy Month, and this year's theme is From Dependence to Resilience, Fueling Our Recovery with Sustainable Energy. We'll be showcasing the collective efforts to advance our region's recovery efforts, while emphasizing the critical role of citizens as we transition to sustainable production, delivery, and use of energy within member states. The month of virtual activities launches with our Energy and Water in Resilient Economies game show and the kickoff of Illuminate, the Energy and You lighting series, where we'll talk about how much lighting technology connects to our lives. Later in the month, the first cohort of the CARICOM Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program will host the 2021 CARICOM Energy Youth Forum. Then, we'll be celebrating some of the region's finest innovators working towards our sustainable energy future. Stay tuned for our SEM Personality Series. Next up is the 7th edition of the Caribbean Sustainable Energy Forum, which brings together key national, regional, and international experts and stakeholders within the public and private sectors and civil society. During CSEF, the International B2B Networking Event and Sustainable Energy Virtual Expo will provide a platform for regional and international institutions, companies, and project developers to foster bilateral relationships. Our Green Education Day will provide students with the academic and career guidance to capitalize on opportunities in the green jobs sector. We'll also host a virtual media workshop to equip journalists with the tools and information they need to deliver the news as it happens throughout the sustainable energy transition. Finally, be sure to catch the launch of the 2021 Energy Report Cards for each member state and come along on virtual tours of the soon-to-be commissioned CARICOM Secretariat Solar Plant and the Uimona Microgrid Facility. It's the first of its kind in the region. Join us as we disrupt, innovate, and transform the region's energy systems to advance our sustainable development. Visit caricom.energy.com to view the calendar of events. The future is now, and our transition is in motion. Join us on this journey.
On October 26, 2021, the Department of Environment submitted Sinkis and Nevis revised National Determined Contribution to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This report outlines how Sinkis and Nevis intends to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions and respond to the impacts of climate change. The preparation of this report was done in consultation with key stakeholders such as the Energy Unit in St. Kitts, Skellig, and Nevlec. Technical support was received from the NDC Partnership Support Unit, Climate Analytics, and IRENA. As we join with the Ministry with Responsibility for Energy in observing Energy Month 2021 under the theme From Dependence to Resilience, Fueling Our Recovery with Sustainable Energy, the Department will use this medium to present the mitigation options identified in the revised NDC. The analysis shows that St. Kitts and Nevis could reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 61% by 2030 based upon the 2010 levels. The activities to support this target include the installation of 35.7 megawatts of utility-scale solar PV, the construction of a 6.6 megawatts of wind power capacity, the development of 25 megawatts of geothermal power capacity, improvement in transmission and distribution infrastructure to reduce losses in both islands, construction of 2 solar PV plants of 0.75 megawatt each to supply desal plants in each island, a 5% demand reduction for the power sector by introducing solar water heaters, and the penetration of electric vehicles reaching 2% of the vehicle fleet. As the impacts of climate change continue to threaten the lives and livelihoods of our people, it is critically important that we implement various activities to enhance resilience. The Ministry of Environment stands ready to do its part to support this drive as we become more resilient and continue to fuel our recovery with sustainable energy.
Why are you doing that, sir? Well, how to do it? Push it in like this. Still in working. What are you trying?
What are you trying to do?
Trying to plug out the radio.
In the ground?
Then so you could get electricity from the ground.
Yeah, but not so.
Show me how.
Come, let us show you. Come, let's dig deep with geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is a type of energy that uses the natural heat from the earth for energy.
Here's how a geothermal energy plant works. First, a well is drilled on the ground and filled with water. The magma under the earth heats the water. As the hot steam rises, it spins the turbine, which operates a generator. That energy is transformed into electricity and sent to the electric mains.
But wait, the water ain't gonna drive in the well.
No, when the turbine spins, the steam cools. Heads to the condenser, turns into water and heads to the cooling tower. Cold water comes out of the cooling tower and back into the well, where the whole cycle starts again.
Geothermal energy is best to work in places where there are volcanoes, fumaroles, hot springs, and geysers. A volcano is a vent in the Earth's crust in which hot melted rocks comes out.
Oh yeah, we got volcano in St. Kitts. More amigo, we got
Fumarole. A fumarole is a hole in the ground where vapor and gas comes out. These are usually found in volcanic regions. A hot spring. A hot spring is a source of water which flows out much hotter than an average spring.
Oh yeah, we got hot spring over Nevis. Oh yeah, over that.
A geyser. A geyser is a spring that occasionally shoots out hot water and steam.
Like this?
Fire! Although geothermal energy plants are expensive to set up, it is a source of energy that never runs out.
I was thinking about yesterday about Canada and the Beaverson. What do you mean? Let's take geothermal energy power can say it's like this.
You mean because the volcano has been the same as the
Yeah.
What do you think?
Stick that note.
You're good.
Now, that Perky fix?
Yeah, you look like pigs.
Maybe one more time.
Happy Energy Month. I am Shaquana Moses from the Charles E. Secondary School. Our theme for the Energy Science Fair is solar energy. So we decided to make a solar battery energy charger mainly for cell phones. This is because communication is important and having a dead cell phone is frustrating. We are also aware that fossil fuels are depleted and we need to make use of our renewable sources before fossil fuels are no more.
So for this project, we use wires, a piece of wood, geometry set tape, a glue gun, electrical tape, a solder, scissors, a USB adapter cable, a multi-port hub, a manila, and 3 solar lights with a AAA rechargeable battery. To make the solar battery charger, the solar lights will be constructed to separate the solar cell, the circuit board, and the battery holder with connectors. The bulb was cut from each solar light, and the cells connected in series using wires. And the batteries were also connected in series. Both solar cells and batteries were connected to the circuit boards, after which wires were used to connect them to one end of the USB adapter cable. The circuit boards were attached to the piece of board to act as an insulator, and the setup was then assembled in the table with glue, manila, and tape and placed in the sun to charge the batteries.
This is our solar battery charger. These are the 3 solar cells connected to the wire, are connected to the battery connected to the circuit board. Circuit board has an inverter that converts DC current to AC current that is used in our homes, which is also connected to the adapter cable. And I connect the multi-port hub to the charger. It lights up to indicate electricity is flowing. And connect the phone now to show that it is working. In the solar battery charger, the solar cells trap the solar energy from the sun It's converted to chemical energy in the battery. It's converted to electrical energy which is used to charge the phone, and thermal energy that is given off when the phone is charging.
How can this solar-powered battery charger be implemented in cities and villages? At bus stops and bus terminals, you could use it while waiting on buses. Schools and universities, it can also be used where people congregate and meet to do their work. Street lights, in case somebody is stranded on the street with a low battery, they could always charge. Beaches, where people go to relax and have fun, where they indulge in our beaches, could get somewhere they could charge them. Parks and lawns, for example, frigate bed, where families go on the weekend to relax, they could charge their electronics. Emergency shelters, so family could stay contacted with their loved ones because they are charged. Tourist attraction sites where tourists go to indulge in our culture, and they could also charge their devices. Community charging stations where people who don't have power could always go to charge their electronics.
Thank you for watching our presentation.
We look forward to seeing this piece of energy technology in our federation in the near future.
We have expanded our contribution to the global solar community through online educational opportunities to meet the professional development needs of our industry and to keep our community connected. Now you can take our NABCEP certification training online, anywhere, anytime on your device. Once you've completed training, you may schedule to take your certification exams through live online proctoring at nabcep.org. Visit the GSI Global Solar Connection platform at greensolutionsskn.com. Here you will gain access to live instructional support, online forums and discussions, live stream of video lectures, engaging lab videos, testing of your technical knowledge, and help desk technical support. We want to invite the global community of renewable energy practitioners to use this opportunity to expand your technical knowledge. For those who want to get into the solar industry, to you we say now is the time. Join us as we discover new and rewarding career opportunities. Go to greensolutionsskn.com and get certified. Green Solutions International, locally rooted, globally connected.
Good day, I am Bertil Brown, the Director of the Energy Unit, and with me is
Denasio Frank, Energy Officer at the Energy Unit.
The Energy Unit is a department in the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. It is responsible for the development and implementation of energy-related legislations, policies, and regulations.
The work of the Energy Unit is guided by the National Energy Policy, which is built on 4 principles: energy security, universal access, affordability, and protection of the environment. It also sets a target of 100% of our electricity being produced from renewable sources.
We also have to work within the confines of existing energy-related legislations. These are the Electricity Supply Act, which is the legal framework for the electricity sector, the amendment to the Electricity Supply Act, which makes provision for the promotion of renewable energy sources, the Nevis Geothermal Resources Development Ordinance, which is the legal framework for the discovery, development, and production of geothermal resources in Nevis.
Almost all of our energy is imported, making our energy supply susceptible to the vagaries of international events. The security of our energy infrastructure is also threatened by natural disasters such as hurricanes.
Our electricity grid can be easily accessed by all potential consumers. Access to charcoal, LPG and gasoline and diesel for transportation is not an issue.
In terms of affordability, our energy prices are on par with small islands that use oil to generate electricity, but are in high in comparison to other countries.
Since almost all our energy is derived from fossil fuel, our energy sector is a source of pollution and contributes to climate change.
The present electricity generation on St. Kitts comprises diesel power plants at Needmos and Marriott, and utility-scale solar PV plants at the airports, the ECCB, and in the vicinity of the ECCB roundabout. On Nevis, there is a diesel plant at Prospect and a wind farm at Maddens. Several businesses and residents have solar and wind installations on both St. Kitts and Nevis.
There are several renewable energy projects at various stages of development. These include a solar PV plant with battery storage in the Bastia Valley, a wind farm at Bellevue, geothermal in the northwest of St. Kitts, a waste-to-energy plant at the St. Kitts landfill, geothermal in Nevis, and a partially solar-powered desalination plants in both St. Kitts and Nevis.
In the transportation sector, there are a few electric and hybrid vehicles. A pilot project for an electric school bus is underway.
On the energy efficiency front, we have changed all of our residential lighting to LED.
We are also in the process of changing all of our street lights and ball field lighting to LED. And we are collaborating with the Department of Environment on a pilot project for an electric school bus.
To incentivize investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency, alternative energy equipment are exempt from customs service charge and import duties.
To bring some relief to customers from the high price of electricity, electricity consumption is subsidized by the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation.
That was a brief overview of the energy sector in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Good morning again, and with me in the studio, I am Cheryl Jeffers, your host, and with me in the studio we have Dr. Bertha Brown, the Director of the Energy Unit, and Mr. Dinacio Frank, Energy Officer within the Energy Unit. And we are here to have a very brief discussion on some of the presentations that you would have seen. And so my first question to Dr. Brown is, based on that presentation that was just delivered, how do you differentiate and what is the main purpose of the Energy Unit compared to the roles and responsibilities of SCELEC?
Okay, good morning to everyone. We at the Energy Unit, our responsibility is to assist in the development of legislations, policies and regulations for the energy sector. Whereas SCELEC and NEVLEC, their job is to generate, transmit and distribute electricity. Of course, they would do that within the regulations, the legislations and the policies and the regulations that were produced by the government. For example, the government has a policy that they would like 100% of our electricity to be produced by renewable sources. And both SCELEC and NEVLEC are in the process of pursuing renewable energy sources to add to their generation mix in order for us to achieve that milestone.
Thank you, Bertha, for that answer. And to now you, to Mr. Dinacio Frank, one of the videos, or two of the videos rather, that was presented earlier showed some presentations from the Dean Glassford Primary School and the Charles E. Mills Secondary School. Can you shed some light into the activities that would have generated such videos?
Yes, certainly. We wanted to, outside of promoting energy in St. Kitts and the importance of energy, we wanted to showcase the talents of our young people and expose them to the field of energy as well. So we had two competitions. One was a door decoration competition amongst the primary schools, where they had to create a decorated door with energy-related theme. And as you can see, Dean Glassford ran with the prize. It was a very, very creative production that they put on. In terms of the high schools, we wanted to show off a little more of the engineering skills that they have. So they had to create a project with the energy-related theme. They all got a randomly selected project, and they created the theme, and as you can see, Sandy Point, Charles E. Mills Secondary won away with the prize by creating a solar battery charger.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Bertil. In your presentation, you indicated that the current energy policy, as old as it may be, is proposing for us to go 100% renewable. I'm assuming that this would require us to consider some sort of feed-in tariff. Would you be able to speak on that in terms of the plans and visions for the ministry as relates to feed-in tariffs?
Yes. The legislation speak of incentivizing consumers to the feed-in tariff, net metering, etc. The energy policy, as I said, it's we would like 100% thing. So what is lacking is the regulations, and we are in the process of developing that regulation. Through CARICOM, we have engaged a consultant firm to look at that issue and to come up with tariffs that are both beneficial to both the utility and the consumers. They adequately compensate the consumers for their investment, while at the same time they don't erode the profit of the electricity company.
Of course.
So that is ongoing, and it soon will be completed. And it will be based on different sizes of installation. For example, you would have a size that is below up to 1 kilowatt, and maybe up to 10 kilowatts, sorry, and then from 10 kilowatt up to 100 kilowatts, etc. For very large installation, for example, like the Leclanche solar farm, that will be more a negotiated arrangement through a PPA.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question, either for you or Dinacio. If a resident is interested in purchasing solar panels and wants to engage in the installation, and they recognize that based on the amount of solar panels they would have bought, they are generating more energy than they are consuming, what options are available or would be provided for such a customer? Dinacio?
They would first have to register with either the energy unit or Skillet, and we will guide them through the process of, I guess, reimbursing them.
Okay, no problem. I just want to use this moment to just say thanks to our sponsors for this virtual energy fair, the CARICOM Secretariat, TAPSEC, and the GIZ. We will break here from the studio and return to some video presentations where we will be seeing some of the private sector and the public sector, and some more exciting videos from the learning institutions within St. Kitts and Nevis. Do enjoy the videos.
TDC Home and Building Depots are very pleased to play its part in celebrating CARICOM Energy Month. And we're here at our store to show you how you can save on your energy consumption in your home or business. Join us as we take a tour to the store to show you how you can save. We stock a wide variety of energy-saving products, including bulbs. These bulbs, along with the others displayed here, which are available for sale, these bulbs last longer than incandescent bulbs, on average up to 15 years, and also helps to save you up to 60% on your energy consumption bill. Solar panels have revolutionized the way we use energy from the sun. And of course, we can use these products in our home as well as our offices. These products can be used for projects, lighting your home, lighting a garage, or even lighting the doghouse. And of course, you save at the end of the day on your energy consumption. These offer up to 30% on your energy consumption bill, whether for your home or office. We also have a variety of solar panels in store that would also be used in your home or office and can be used for small projects as well. Home lighting kits are the norm these days, and of course we do stock home lighting kits, and this is one in particular. It has a built-in rechargeable sealed battery, wide voltage range, of course it works in 110 and 220 volts, and it can charge up to 13 to 15 hours and gives you that much use. These are available in our stores, and of course they can last up to 10 hours with 2 LED bulbs, 7 hours as well, and are good for USB charging for your mobile phone or tablet as well. Solar panels are also available for industrial use. We also have them for home security, where we offer solar panels with motion sensors built in so that you can protect your home and your investment. All solar panels are sold with installation kits and battery packs. Inverter refrigerators have become the norm in almost every single household these days. And of course, they also help to save energy and money in your pocket. Here's how the inverter refrigerator works. If it's daytime and hot outside, then the inverter compressor will operate at high speed to achieve the set temperature. And during night, when the temperature is low, the compressor will operate at slow speed to reach the same temperature. Hence, inverter refrigerators and air conditioning units save power by adjusting its compressor speed as per the load of the product. This inverter technology helps to save 30% of consumption in comparison to conventional appliances. TDC is very pleased to play its part in promoting CARICOM Energy Month, and of course, we're delighted to partner with our stakeholders, the Ministry of Infrastructure et al., in promoting renewable energy and renewable solutions for all.
We at Sol are proud to be a part of the St. Kitts and Nevis landscape. And as the Caribbean's leading provider of petroleum-based energy solutions within the Caribbean, we have operations within 22 locations, and we are committed to providing the best possible solutions to individuals, families, businesses, as well as government institutions within our network. We also provide products and services in fuel, lubricants, and LPG solutions. We also have 7 Sol branded service stations, 6 in St. Kitts, 1 in Nevis, as well as 2 stations non-branded within Nevis. We are committed to growth and development within St. Kitts and Nevis and providing safe operations as we connect, energize, support our development within St. Kitts and Nevis.
At Sol Aviation, we are happy to help connect St. Kitts and Nevis to the rest of the region and to the world by air. We provide a reliable, safe, and timely supply of high-quality aviation fuels, Avgas 100LL and Jet A1. Our local aviation department has combined experience that exceeds 60 years, and we are all proud to be leaders in the supply of aviation fuel services in St. Kitts and Nevis. Our aviation department is located at the Robert L. Bratcher International Airport in St. Kitts, and we are very committed to maintaining international safety and quality controls that ensure smooth operations for our general and commercial customers in St. Kitts and Nevis.
We believe that smooth sailing begins with Sol. This is because we make it our mission to provide reliable, high-quality energy solutions for all your marine needs, and with the highest levels of customer service. We are proud to deliver ultra-low sulfur marine fuels that meet the most stringent of specifications. All fuels pass rigorous quality testing throughout the entire supply chain, compliant with the ISO 8217 specifications for marine fuel.
At Sol, we often say that while we are in the business of providing energy solutions, we are in the business of people first. That is why our customers can be assured of the quality of our ExxonMobil lubricant products. We supply ExxonMobil lubricants under a license agreement for Sol St. Kitts. This agreement provides exciting opportunities for sharing Mobil lubricants technology and innovation with the market. Our supply, planning, production, logistics, sales, marketing, and customer service teams work diligently together to ensure a consistent supply of product and exemplary customer service. We specialize in heavy-duty, industrial, marine, motorcycle, and automotive lubricants that are supplied across our network.
Sol is much more than a supply of energy products. We are part of the communities in which we operate, and we will continue to support our customers' daily journeys with quality fuels for their personal or commercial vehicles. We're on a mission to help you make more of your journeys. That's why our advanced Sol Go fuels are designed to give you savings and longer journeys on each fill up. We supply Sol Go fuels through our network of Sol service stations in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Our LPG product, Sol Gas, is the reliable, clean-burning cooking gas you need in your kitchen. Sol Gas is long-lasting and convenient to access. It's available in 20-pound and 100-pound cylinders as well as bulk delivery sizes through our retail and distributor network with a variety of ordering and payment options. Sol Gas is perfect for you and your family or for your business. Whether you are a highly trained professional chef with years of culinary experience or you are preparing your very first meal, you can count on the reliability of Sol Gas.
We want you to know that safety is a top priority for us at Sol. We make safety a daily pursuit as part of our Goal Zero initiative, which is our innovative safety plan to have zero accidents and injuries on the job. For us, safety means establishing a safe workplace, managing security risk, playing a leading role in promoting best practice in our industry and protecting the environment and its biodiversity. Safety is so important for us that we've interwoven it in every aspect of our organization, even as one of our core values, and we encourage all Sol team members and contractors to share this commitment.
At Sol, we're committed to powering journeys and energizing communities through passionate people and innovative partnerships. And as we live our core values of safety, integrity, community, and respect in our daily operations, we will continue to deliver, support, and empower our St. Kitts and Nevis communities.
And we are representing the Sandy Point Primary School. Today, we are going to show you how biomass energy affects our everyday life. What is biomass, you may ask? Well, biomass is the amount of living matter used as fuel to generate electricity. The sources of biomass are plants, animal waste, garbage, and sewage. These sources must first go through the process of combustion. In order to generate hot gases, to generate steam, to come through the turbine and get mechanical and electrical energy. These forms of energy go processed to the generator, to the tower, to the transformer, to the electrical pole, and into our homes. To get electricity, light, heat, and kinetic energy. Facts of biomass are: it is renewable, means it can never run out. It is cheap, and it is also sold throughout the year. And it is environmental friendly. We are encouraging you to use biomass energy as an alternative source of energy.
NISS generators. How can wind energy be harnessed for use in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have a relationship with wind that dates back centuries. Wind-powered mills with huge sails were used to crush sugarcane.
Technology has vastly evolved since those days.
Large wind turbines can now be used to generate hundreds of kilowatts of electrical energy.
These large wind turbines are impressive, but we are interested in creating something that you can use in your everyday life.
For the completion of this project, we had 5 phases to complete: the research, design, sourcing, building, and testing.
fin that is being attached to the main board. This will help move the turbine to face the direction of the wind.
This is a 12-volt, 90-watt DC turbo with fan that we salvaged from our village mechanic shop. It originally was a radiator fan. We bolted the arm and fin onto the generator and fan component.
I connected the positive and negative leads from the generator to the battery. These wires will run down the pole of the wind turbine. We had to be careful and use electrical tape to make sure the connection were secure.
It took some work, but we successfully made our DIY wind turbine. It was time for testing.
So how do wind turbines really work? Wind energy turns the propeller-like blades of a turbine around a rotor. This spins a generator, which creates electricity. Any home can be powered by a wind turbine. Wind energy is simple and easy to use in your life. Inside a person's house, water pump is powered by wind energy.
Wind energy can also be used in agriculture. A wind-powered water pump can irrigate crops.
Wind energy can power agriculture. The Nevis International Secondary School is celebrating CARICOM Energy Month. From dependence to resilience, fueling our recovery with sustainable energy.
Wind energy, energy for the future.
The Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer is an international agreement designed to phase out chemicals known as ozone-depleting substances that cause harm to the ozone layer. As these substances are being phased out, new, more ozone-friendly gases have emerged. These gases are hydrofluorocarbons, known as HFCs, and do not contain chlorine and therefore do not contribute to ozone depletion. However, it was discovered that HFCs have a significantly high global warming potential. The adoption of the Kigali Amendment to the protocol calls for the phase down of HFCs. One of the key actions of the National Ozone Unit within the Ministry of Environment will be to implement activities that will protect the climate by phasing down production and consumption of high global warming potential HFCs. It was observed that this action can avoid up to 0.4 degrees Celsius of global warming. As such, the office will be supporting mechanisms that promote energy efficiency and introduce low carbon and low emission technologies and practices. The adoption of energy efficient and climate friendly cooling options in St. Kitts and Nevis is important. Trainers and surface refrigeration technicians will be trained to ensure the sector is able to meet various safety requirements in handling natural refrigerants and prepare for foreseeable developments and changes in technology, which include energy efficient equipment.
21 years ago, on September 1st, 2000, the Nevis Electricity Company Limited, NEVLEC, commenced operations as the sole electricity provider on the island. Driven by the motto, working towards a brighter future, NEVLEC has been steadfast in its efforts to building a robust network to provide the people of Nevis with a reliable source of power. Over the years, NEVLEC has demonstrated tremendous growth in power generation, transmission and distribution, and our commitment towards improving the customer experience. In 2001, our demands increased. Hence, a decision was taken to expand the power station located at Prospect Industrial Site. This expansion saw the addition of the first of 3 Wärtsilä engines in 2002. The decision made then by the management team was to ensure that the plant's capacity would continue to meet the growing demand of the island. In 2010, the first wind farm in the OECS was commissioned at Madden's Estate in the parish of St. James. The planting of 8 Bergnet wind turbines made way for the harvesting of 2.2 megawatts of wind energy to be added to the island's energy mix. This was very significant as Nevis led the way as the first island in the OECS to reduce energy dependency on fossil fuels and diversified the island's power production with clean, renewable energy. In 2019, NEVLEC introduced a Government of St. Kitts and Nevis GOSKN project to replace all high-pressure sodium HPS lights. Better known as the LED retrofit program, it is expected that 4,000 fixtures will be replaced by December 2021. As demand grew from 7 megawatts to 9.1 megawatts in 2017, NEVLEC added its second Wärtsilä engine and will add a third, which is due to be commissioned in January 2022, to again meet the island's increasing demand. As growth occurred in generation, transmission and distribution also progressed. T&D undertook upgrades on all 5 feeders. These upgrades serve multiple purposes. Firstly, to ensure that NEVLEC's residential and commercial customers both receive reliable and sustainable electricity service island-wide. And secondly, to accomplish a set goal to reduce system losses, which were above 20% in 2010. These were successfully reduced to single digits in 2019. To accomplish this task meant replacing high voltage and low voltage poles, upgrading primary, secondary, and service lines. The entire generation and T&D staff must be commended for their hard work and commitment to seeing each project to fruition. It is their hard work and dedication which has seen plans that were made on drawing boards for so many years become a reality. You may wonder, what is next in the evolution of NEVLEC? Here is what we have in store. For the upcoming years, NEVLEC will continue to reduce energy dependency on fossil fuels, with geothermal soon to be a reality. The developers are expected to begin digging production wells by 2022 and commission a plant by the first quarter of 2024. Once a success, NEVLEC will be 100% renewable, again being a first not only in the OECS but the Caribbean. NEVLEC is optimistic that it will have at least 90 megawatts of electricity available by 2030. There are also discussions to interconnect our sister island to provide resilience and sustainability to both islands. Areas have been identified on both islands. Stay tuned for further developments. Additionally, NEVLEC is pursuing its interest in grid modernization, which will commence in 2022, with the introduction of Advanced Metering Infrastructure, AMI. This will also collect valuable data for future planning of the grid, but will also provide demand-side management, DSM, to assist customers with how to manage their consumption. Discussions are at an advanced stage. It is expected that smart meters will be connected to every home and every business by the third quarter of 2022. NEVLEC has also started discussions with major suppliers to install both auto reclosers and auto links to assist with localizing faults, which would help twofold. One, to only isolate faulted areas, and two, to quickly dispatch crews to those affected areas. Supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, will be the next step in the development of NEVLEC, which will be implemented by the last quarter of 2023. NEVLEC continues to uphold our mission statement, that is, to be a first-class electric utility company providing quality, reliable, and cost-effective service for the social and economic development and well-being of the residents and people of Nevis.
We know there are moments when life just doesn't go as planned, and our days pretty much takes us where it wants to. But for every missed occasion, there's a great opportunity. We are making it easier to make bill payments, report faults, and receive bill balances through our automated call-in service available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Simply call 465-2000 and say or press 2 to access our automated customer service system. Say or press 2 to make a payment via credit card. Enter your 8-digit Skillet account number as seen on your bill. Enter the amount you wish to pay without a decimal point. For example, enter 2000 for a $20 payment. Have your credit card on hand to enter your credit card number, expiration date, and security number. One phone call gives you the power to regain control of your day. Skillet's interactive voice response system. Skillet, powering responses. We know what it feels like to have your head in the game, to be in charge, and reign supreme. And we also know what it feels like to have that taken away from you. But for every missed occasion, there's a great opportunity. Simply call 465-2000. Say or press 1 to report an outage. Enter your account number or telephone number to report the outage. Clearly explain the cause of your power outage. We can even call you back to let you know when the power is restored. One phone call gives you the power to regain control of your day. Skillet's interactive voice response system. Skillet, powering responses.
Skillet now introduces eBiz online bill payments. Pay your bills online, anytime, anywhere, using your computer or cell phone. Pay using your debit or credit card and see your balance in real time. Schedule auto bill pay and receive notifications via email. Visit Skillet today and sign up for eBiz online bill payments. It's that easy. For more info, call 465-2000 or visit us on Facebook.
We're giving you the power to create lasting memories, to accomplish your wildest dreams, the power to set a goal and achieve it. And we're doing so in the moments when you need us most. We think of you in all we do, because we're not just an energy provider. We are tested, committed, efficient, and most of all, we are an electricity company that you other way. Skelec, powering your community with reliability and responsibility.
Skelec's interactive voice response system, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Thank you again, and we are back here live in the studio for the second part of our live discussion that forms part of our virtual energy fair in celebration of Energy Month 2021. Today we have Mr. Ken Roberts from the Skelec. He is the Assistant Engineering Manager, and joining virtually we have Mr. Ian Ward, Chief Engineer of NEVLEC. Before we continue with our discussions, I just want to pause and say thanks to our sponsors for this particular event, the TAPSEC, the GIZ, and the CARICOM. And so, Mr. Ward, can you hear us?
You hear me okay?
Yes, I am. Okay, great.
Good morning.
Okay, thanks. So, welcome again. St. Kitts and Nevis would have submitted its revised NDC just about a month ago to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Based on the mitigation options that were assessed by the IRENA company, or agency rather, it be proposing a 25 megawatt of geothermal by 2030. So my question to both of the panelists, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Ward, what do you think do we need to do to effect such a proposed target to be achieved by 2030? Mr. Ward, to you, and then we turn to Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, sorry. Good morning again, Michelle, and to the panelists. Well, I can speak for the Nevis project. I think Kenrod will speak to the St. Kitts project. NEVLEC right now is considering all options. We know that there is a project here in Nevis. The water levels are excellent, and so are the heat levels. We know that we are getting good temperatures, 250 degrees Celsius at around 1,000 feet. We'll be better informed when the developers commence drilling production wells in the first quarter of 2022. Then we will know what the wells can produce and whether we should scale up or meet the island or federal demand. We are, however, confident that a 30 megawatt project can safely deliver a tariff in single digits. Now, as it pertains to what it will take, I think from a federal perspective, it will take a lot of assistance and support. I think Kenrod and Bertil will agree that we do not have the expertise on the islands, on either island. We are discussing these matters with our Caribbean partners, CARILEC and SECRE. They are offering a lot of assistance, but I think that we are going to need, going forward, more support. We're going to need help with further studies. We're going to need assistance even before developers reach here with the digging of the production wells, and also basically producing the resource, the electricity, for both islands, both St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. And to you, Mr. Roberts, would it safe to say that St. Kitts is at advance as Nevis is as relates to the geothermal?
Well, with respect to the geothermal, I would not say St. Kitts is as advanced as Nevis. We would have just conducted some initial tests a few years ago. That would have been in the northwestern region of St. Kitts. And so based on some of the initial results, I am informed that that there is potential for geothermal resource on St. Kitts, and it would require some further investigation, one being a test, the drilling of a test well to confirm what the capacity would be. And so yes, so from there, I suppose it would require that final feasibility study to be done. With respect specifically to reaching a target set, as Mr. Ward would have indicated, I would say that there will be a need for support from regional as well as global bodies to assist us in accelerating our thrust towards this geothermal.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roberts. And so there's a follow-up question. It has been a discussion that has been taking place for some time now in terms of grid interconnection. Instead of having a SCELEC and a NEVLEC, we're having one unit that basically is responsible for providing energy resources to the consumers of St. Kitts and Nevis. Can either of you shed some light in terms of what grid interconnection is and your thoughts on the possibility and practicality of having such a venture?
I'll start that. The interconnect basically is an electrical tie of two or more electrical grids that act together or operate during normal system conditions. So in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, it is sharing excess loads between Prospect and Needs Must. What this means is that in the event that a failure occurs on a genset, or perhaps for a short period of time you're not meeting the demand, the grid can share that load of the generating plant. And so I think the most important benefit of the interconnect for both islands is that it will increase reliability on both islands. Now, as the discussion, we have had discussions with our counterparts in St. Kitts. We have identified areas not yet finalized. We are in the process of having further discussions once the IRRP has been completed. We believe that out of that IRRP, that will have a better defined direction as to how both utilities will operate and as it pertains to what voltage we'll be operating at. So presently we are operating both islands at 11 kV. There has been discussions of upgrading both islands to 33 kV and even discussions at 66 kV. And so we believe that the IRP will help both of us make that final decision as to which transmission voltage will better suit or best suit both of the utilities. We believe that we are far ahead, we're well ahead of what we'd like to do here in Nevis. We have identified routes to run our transmission lines, and so we just wait to see what the outcome will be in terms of the lessons from IRP, and also continuing discussions with ourselves and SCELEC, and then we'll move forward, because I think that's the best thing for both islands. We're both small, we both have our issues and our problems. So I think, sharing that load between us would benefit both islands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just before I go to Mr. Roberts, for the benefit of the listening and viewing audience, can you please shed some light in terms of what IRRP is, Mr. Watt?
The IRRP is the Resources and Resilience Plan, which really we engage the assistance of CCRE and CARICOM to help guide the direction of both islands. We're still young in terms of utility companies. And so we ask for their assistance to help us, where we'll be in the next 5 years, next 10 years, next 15 years. And so they're assisting us with that project. And hopefully in the next couple of months or so, out of that, as I said, we will get more information as how we can, as utilities, both Skelec and Nevlec, how we can move forward with our development.
Okay, thank you. And so to you, Mr. Roberts, how ready are we for interconnectivity of our grids?
Well, as Mr. Ward would have indicated, we are progressing quite vigorously in that direction. We are currently engaged in, I think, bi-weekly discussions in putting together plans in that regard. Some of the initial technical discussions are quite advanced, as Mr. Ward would have indicated. We are like at the point of looking at what voltage levels we would be making use of for that transmission link. As mentioned, I am in agreement that the main advantage for this grid interconnection would be that of increased reliability. The thing though is that this would, however, require a high level of coordination between the two utilities with respect to dispatching of power to the customers. So as of right now, Skelec and Nevlec are independent, and they will remain independent. However, once there is a grid interconnection, there will be a requirement for greater coordination, the harmonizing of our operations, and even so, we would have to go in the direction of possibly putting in place a regulatory body or commission that will now be regulating both utilities. Now, the advantage that we have in terms of Nevlec and Skelec is that we are one country, and we are governed under the same act, which is the Electricity Act. And so from a legal perspective, it should be something that shouldn't be too difficult for us to put in place, and they can get in some of the other factors ready.
Okay, thank you. So based on what I would have understood from the interventions from both Mr. Ward and Mr. Roberts, we can comfortably say that we are in a good place of reaching our proposed target by 2030, as long as we have access to the technical assistance from our regional and international counterparts. We have access to the relevant financing, because we do recognize that if we are going to consider any type of grid interconnection, I'm assuming that it will require some sort of underground connections in terms of between the two islands. And so we will stand ready and always lose the opportunities to leverage as much financing as required, basically in support of the focus for this year, which talks about dependence and resilience and fueling our recovery to sustainable energy. In our third discussions, we'll be having some discussions with the the wind farm producers and the solar farm producers. But one of the questions I want to ask Nevlec and Skelec is, have there been any further considerations for any alternative energy sources that would be apart from the solar, the wind, or geothermal in terms of options for St. Kitts and Nevis?
So, well, I would respond first. Of course, once one is doing an integrated resource planning document, that all options are considered. However, as we can imagine, some of the others that maybe, say, wave or some other newer resource aren't as developed as would be solar and wind and geothermal today. So yes, those options I suppose would be considered, but you are, as rightly mentioned, the focus has been so far on solar, wind, and geothermal.
Okay, Mr. Watt, any reactions to the question?
Yeah, basically I agree with Kenrod. The only thing that we have looked at very briefly, because our wind resource on both islands is very strong, is offshore wind, which is gathering a lot of speed right now. We have the onshore, and I can tell you it has helped tremendously on the island of Nevis. It probably takes about 4% right now of our energy mix, but I think offshore wind will be a game changer in the coming years. They can produce a lot more wind, much larger, and they don't take up space on the island because they can be built out at sea. So that's something I think we should be looking at seriously in the coming years.
Okay, thank you. And just to indicate that before this part of the live discussion would have taken place, you would have been privy to some additional videos, and the video that you would have seen from the Sandy Point Primary School in terms of the door competition, they were placed second in the competition that took place, and for the Nevis International Secondary School, they were placed second in the science fair. So we just want to say thanks to all of the schools that would have participated thus far, because we've now recognizing that there is scope and an opportunity for not just the primary schools but the secondary schools to participate in these particular activities. We will break for a short moment in terms of the live discussions and will resume to our video presentations coming from not just the private sector but also the public sector and also some other schools that would have participated in the competition. Do enjoy the videos.
Good day, my name is Iron Odain, and I'm an engineer with the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards. Today we're going to look at the role that the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards plays when it comes to energy. When we think about energy, we often think about the electrical companies, and we don't really think too much about what the Bureau of Standards has to offer when it comes to energy. The Bureau of Standards is currently involved in several programs. One of the programs is the Energy Efficiency Labeling Program. This is a program that we are looking at developing a regional standard for energy efficiency in electrical appliances such as refrigerators and washing machines and ACs. At the Bureau of Standards, we're currently involved in the calibration of electrical meters, smart meters to be exact. Now, smart meters have a lot of versatility, and they allow, if used properly, they can allow you to actually pinpoint which appliance in your home is actually consuming the most electricity. At the Bureau of Standards, we have a AVO phaser which we can use to verify if the smart meter is actually measuring what it's supposed to measure. This device allows us to calibrate a smart meter. It contains a reference standard that is built inside. This reference standards compares a simulated signal to what is actually being read by the meter. Once the AVO phaser is energized, the smart meter is easily attached to it, and we would be able to take reading in a very short time. It would send a current to the meter, and then it would then compare what is actually being read by the meter to what is actually being said, and you can see whatever difference is. You can know whether or not the meter is actually working or if it's not working properly. This information is captured on a computer. It captures the model, the make, the class of the meter, and also the serial number, so that the device will be able to recognize this meter in the future, and also would hold a record of the results of the test, and the report can be printed. We also were involved in an energy efficiency exercise where we verified the energy efficiency labeling on several refrigerators. Using this device, we would record the power being used by the refrigerator over a period of 100 days, and we will be able to then see if what is on the label is actually what this device would measure. The power consumed is actually or close to what the energy label would measure. We try to encourage persons that if they are purchasing equipment or any kind of electrical device, that they look for those with energy labeling. They pay close attention for those that may have energy saving standards. They may be a little more costly, but in the long run, you would save a lot more money and it'll be better for the environment.
The solar industry is growing so quickly that the demand for experienced solar technicians has outstripped the supply of qualified people. This is a particularly troubling trend for residential installers, as they are left struggling to find qualified solar installation personnel. The industry is working to improve quality and reduce installation costs. But until we address the obvious skills gap which exists, this will not occur.
Having worked with hundreds of high-quality solar installers, we are confident that technicians are not intentionally performing poor quality work. They just need to be trained correctly. In order to provide a cost-effective and quality installation of a solar PV system, an installation crew should have all the necessary skills to complete the system in one trip. There are no legal or regulatory requirements required in the Caribbean region in order to directly install solar. So we took the initiative and started these certifications with that in mind.
We recently offered the NABCEP Photovoltaic Associate course and the Systems Inspector Certification course at the University of the West Indies Western Campus, Montego Bay, Jamaica. Participants came from all over the Caribbean, including Barbados, Montserrat, St. Martin, and Jamaica. Having a NABCEP Associate credential offers employers and consumers a reference to the kind of installer you will be. Before the interview, before even reading your resume or job application, a NABCEP Associate credential lets people know that you are committed, enthusiastic, safety-minded, and armed with a fundamental knowledge of quality installations. NABCEP board certifications are earned by demonstrating your training, experience, and passing a rigorous exam. Board certifications positively impact your career by giving you increased marketability, validation of knowledge, and an enhanced reputation.
We have engaged solar contractors, local governments, and agencies in order to provide some local solutions. We have also successfully partnered with institutions such as Hydroelectric, the United Nations Development Small Grants Program in St. Kitts and Nevis, and the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Labor in order to train persons from these regions.
My job today is to train as much as I can to build beautiful power plants here in Jamaica. So we have a lot of people from the utility and others, even from companies that actually sell solar equipment here today. And I've spent the last week actually training this group, and we've had a really good interaction, a lot of great questions. I'm very happy to see that we have solar here in Jamaica. It's wonderful.
We help the industry improve training and hiring practices through original research, the NABCEP certification program, the regional trainer employer programs, and online connection platforms. The solar industry is still in its infant stage, and the growth potential needs to be more broadly understood. Right now, there is less than 2% market penetration in terms of solar energy installation, and that number will continue to grow larger. Furthermore, it will create jobs that are local and cannot be outsourced. You'll always need real people to install, design, and manage solar projects. Everyone in the industry recognizes the need for advanced training and a qualified workforce. We need to make sure that the available training and credentialing addresses the critical skill gaps that exist in the solar industry today.
We are proud providers of NABCEP certifications, which are the ultimate validation of knowledge and experience in the growing solar industry. GSI, locally rooted, globally connected.
And here with me are Pandomo, Daniel Williams, and Covante Pedro. We are representing the T.W. Williams Primary School in the CARICOM Energy Month 2021 Dual Decoration Competition. Our display is depicting 3 clean, renewable, and environmentally friendly sources of energy. Solar power energy. Anaikwan, tell us how it works.
Solar energy works by solar panels convert sunlight into direct current electricity. An inverter converts the direct current electricity into alternating current electricity for your home. Free solar energy is sent to your home. A special solar meter monitors energy used and produced. Excess solar energy is sent back to the grid. The grid powers your home when the sun is down.
Geothermal energy. Daniel, explain to us how we get usable energy from the earth.
Geothermal power works like this. Hot water is pumped from deep underground to a well under high pressure. When the water reaches the surface, the pressure is dropped, which causes the water to turn into steam. The steam spins a turbine which is connected to a generator that produces electricity. The steam cools off in a cooling tower and condenses back to water. The cooled water is pumped back into the earth to begin the process again.
Hydropower. Covante, let's hear from you.
How does hydropower work? Heavy flowing falling water, as in a dam or waterfall, pushes the turbine blade, causing it to spin. The turbine converts the kinetic energy of the falling water into mechanical energy. The turbine is connected to a generator which spins when the turbine spins. The mechanical energy from the turbine changes to electric energy. Then finally, transmission lines conduct electricity from the hydropower plant to homes and businesses.
Thank you, energy savers. Some advantages of using alternative energy services. 1. They are reliable. 2. Have very low maintenance costs. 3. And most importantly, they are environmentally friendly.
Energy Month 2021, from dependence to resilience, fueling our recovery with sustainable energy.
Please go to our Facebook page and like and share our video.
Thank you.
We, the students of the Washington Archibald High School, are proud to present you our science fair topic, energy storage.
We looked at many suggestions for this topic to see which one is better suited for the small island federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Also had to be practical and economical. Some suggestions were battery storage, pumped hydro, and
and flywheels. But we settled on compressed air energy storage, or CAES for short.
This was because it can be easily tied to the current energy grid, works great with renewable energy sources, and requires less maintenance replacement over time than other options. Best bang for our buck.
That it not only quickly produces electricity when it is needed, but can be used to offload demand from the grid, reducing those dreaded power outages.
Conventional or renewable energy is used to compress air into a capable tank where it is stored for later use. When needed, the air is released into a power turbine which produces electricity.
So electric energy converts to kinetic energy, which compresses the air and turns it into potential energy, which gives off waste heat, and it is stored in tanks. Then kinetic energy rotates turbines to power a DC generator, and it produces electric energy.
Proof of concept demonstrates that this is a viable option for our tiny mission, moving us forward towards an energy-independent future. From dependence to resilience, fueling our recovery with sustainable energy.
How can it be implemented in St. Kitts and Nevis? This compressed air energy can be connected to the Nevis power station, utilizing the dead space occupied by the old sugar factory, converting the factory to a beneficial factory once again. Other possible areas are the solar farm near the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and the solar farm at the airport, utilizing the energy produced during the day to store it for nighttime use.
Examples of real-world applications. 2 such projects have already been completed. One in Texas, storing wind energy, and one in Canada. Texas Dispatchable Wind 1 consists of a wind turbine, a general compression advanced energy storage system, a storage cavern, and other electrical and ancillary facilities. The project has the capability to, during periods of low demand, store portions of the energy generated by the wind turbine, and later, during periods of increased demand, release the stored energy.
Canadian firms NR, Estor, and Hydrostore partnered up on utility-scale compressed air storage. The project is 1.75 megawatt peak power output rating and has a 2.2 megawatt rating and 10 megawatt hour of storage capacity.
This has been on the TED Talk. Thanks for watching. Please like and follow for more information.
And we are back live at the studio as we continue our panel discussion with a series of panelists. Earlier, we would have had discussions with Dr. Bertel Brown and Dinasio Frank from the Energy Unit. Shortly after that, we would have met with Mr. Kenrick Roberts and Mr. Ian Ward, representing Skelec and Nevlec, respectively. And our third suite of panelists would be Mr. Mark Tippett, North Star President, and also Mr. Mark Walters, Vice President of Customer Operations. Both Mark W. and Mark P. will be virtually participating virtually. And so, Mark, can you hear me?
And thank you.
Okay, so my first question to both of you will be, can you provide a brief description on either one of your projects? So we'll start first with Mark Waters of Look Launch.
Okay, thank you. So our project is a energy storage project which utilizes solar panels, approximately 96,000 solar panels, along with 14 inverters and then 14 containers of batteries. This will be approximately 102 acres in the Bastyr Valley, which is about 25% of the land area there. This is also a project that consists of $74 million in capital expenditure. The advantage is that that capital expenditure is not in the outlay of the St. Kitts government or on Skellig. We're utilizing for this project best-in-class technology as well as major equipment controllers and providers such as Cattle batteries, LaClanche batteries, as well as SMA inverters.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walters. And now to you, Mr. Tippett. Can you provide a brief description of your project, the wind farm?
Yes, thank you. The Bellevue Wind Project is located, as the name indicates, in the area of Bellevue above Black Rocks in the northern side of the island. The project is comprised of 3 Vestas wind turbines. These wind turbines are 1.8 megawatts of nameplate capacity each, for a total of 5.4 megawatts, may go up to 6 depending on the generation of the turbines. These turbines are actually quite large compared to the turbines in Nevis for the Nevlec project. So with 3 turbines, we produce almost 3 times the amount of power as the Nevis project, and that's just a byproduct of the size of the turbines. As I said, we'll produce between 5.4 and 6 megawatts of nameplate capacity, and the distinction of the nameplate capacity is depending on the wind speed, they would be producing less. They could never produce more than the nameplate capacity. And with the previous presentations on interconnection and the very informative videos from the children on how different technologies work, we're just a much larger version of the little project that they showed you from the school.
Okay, thank you very much. And one of the things that I think would be keen to the listening and viewing audience is the benefit for St. Kitts having this solar project for Mr. Mark Walters and also for the wind project for Mr. Tippett. So Mr. Walters, the question to you is, what would you say are the benefits for St. Kitts having such this solar storage project?
So yes, the advantage is the fact that this solar field as well as storage project, we're enabling about 30 to 35% penetration, which the benefit there is about a third of the energy needed for the island will be supplied by this project, and therefore that will reduce the need or reliance on the generators themselves. So therefore, if there are new projects, a project like this will minimize a need for new generators in the future, as well as that reduction in those diesel generators will provide a benefit for greener project itself because it's solar and then battery storage, which will reduce overall emissions, as well as, again, a savings for the overall generator cost.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walters. And to you, Mr. Tippett, recognizing that for the revised NDC that St. Kitts and Nevis had submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, these 2 particular projects were actually identified as mitigation options that will provide support to us reaching that target of a 61% of reduction of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. So the question to you, Mr. Tippett, is, based on what Mr. Mark has said, similar to your wind farm project, what are the benefits for St. Kitts in having such a project for the island?
Yes. So ever since I've been working with the Federation and with Skellig and understanding the goals and objectives of government and Skellig and Nevlec, it has always been our understanding that not only does the Federation want renewable to reduce or possibly eliminate the dependence on imported forms of energy, that renewable resource be a combination of different technologies so that all the eggs aren't in one basket. So I think we understand, fully the benefits of the solar project. Two things that St. Kitts has in abundance, among many other things, but from an energy perspective, certainly there's a lot of sun, and from all of our engineering studies, there's a lot of wind. So the goals are to reduce the dependence on imported forms of energy, add to a rich texture of different, the rich fabric of different renewable generation technologies, and ultimately start to lower the cost of electricity for end users.
Thank you. As an islander, I would have seen solar panels at the airports and in that area close to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. And so one of the questions I have for Mr. Walters is how does this project that is being proposed through Leclanche differs to the solar projects that are already existing on the island of St. Kitts?
Okay, so our project differs because it connects directly to the grid. So that energy and power availability of about 1/3 or 33% is in enabling a power generation for the entire grid. So like the airport or like the bank or other areas, it's maybe specific for a business or specific for a personal need, such as putting something for a residential. This would be able to be supplied for the entire island. So as well, this particular project itself, differing is that the project itself has a 20-year O&M or operations and maintenance project backing that is supported by Leclanche. So for the 20 years after the project is executed, we will be able to support and be required to support the equipment and the use of that equipment on the island.
Okay, thank you. And to you, Mr. Tippett, in terms of the main difference that this project will be presenting or offering, different to the project that has been in the Nevis area.
Yes. So I think generally the differences for both the solar project and the wind project are in their scale. One kind of pretty well-known principle of renewable energy generation is the larger the project, the lower the cost of each incremental unit of electricity, a kilowatt hour. The other thing that is really important with large projects, which is difficult for the utilities with smaller projects such as rooftop, is the amount of control that the grid has and that the utilities have over those projects. Because the wind and the solar are large projects, they're utility scale, they're connected to the grid as opposed to directly to an end user. So we as developers go through an enormous amount of planning and technical feasibility in conjunction with with Skellig, and certainly the larger project in Nevis has to do the same thing with Nevlec, so that those system operators can ensure that they're getting the maximum amount of power delivered to end users at the lowest possible cost, while being able to maintain the control and security that would be necessary for an island grid. So the short answer is the scale, the size.
Okay, thank you. And so just to further emphasize and to ask the question, in terms of the direct benefits to the Skellig companies for both the solar projects and the wind farm project, Mr. Tippett, is there any benefit or direct benefit that you would say that this wind farm will be presenting to Skellig and its officers?
Yes. So the first thing generally, is that the electricity should come onto the grid at a lower total cost than the same amount of electricity, when produced, for example, by diesel fuel. The other thing, in particular to our project, is where it's located on the island. We're located a very long distance from needs must. In order to, and the educational videos from the kids were so useful, in order to push electricity from needs must all the way down to the far end of the island, the feeder that we're on is the Keon feeder, which terminates in St. Paul's. The utility has to run. They have to run their generators kind of extra hard and produce extra capacity, so that if someone on the far side of the island turns on a generator or has a large electrical draw instantaneously, the power is there. If we engineer this correctly, and we think that we have, it will allow the utility to run less spinning reserve because there is now a fairly large power source on the far side of the island that could fulfill kind of an instantaneous requirement. So it's not only with the goal of lowering the overall cost compared to fossil fuel, but also allowing the utility to have more control over, dispatchability of power to the far side of the island.
Thank you, Mr. Tippett. And I'm almost certain that the persons who reside in that particular area will be looking very forward to the implementation of your wind farm project. And so to Mr. Waters, similar question in terms of what benefits do you foresee that will be linked towards the Skellig company?
Yeah, so the project itself, of course, is a direct tie to Skellig, as I mentioned earlier. So the proximity of our battery storage area is right across Wellington Road. So that direct tie enables us to be able to be very closely linked with Skellig regarding the support, both support for energy during the day, which is provided primarily through the PV panels, but also with the battery storage. So what this enables is an enhanced stability for the grid itself, which Skellig will benefit from, but it also provides a ability to be able to, if there is an issue with being able to provide power or need power during the day, that we have the flexibility of looking at utilizing the battery storage power if necessary. So the interface, again, is very closely linked, very closely required to be linked between us and Skellig. And then finally, we have a software, of course, and a energy management system that's required to operate our facility, and that in turn will be also an upgrade. We will provide an upgrade to Skellig in their control room, a software upgrade that enables us to be very closely aligned, as indicated previously, and therefore we would be able to make sure that they have enhancements in their overall monitoring of their system, as well as linkage to monitoring of our system.
Okay, thank you very much. Quite insightful information. And in light of the COVID pandemic, both of you would have recognized that we would have had some challenges in terms of, particularly towards our tourism industry and other sectors, in terms of job losses or a slowdown in terms of the activities. And so one of the things that I think would be key to our listening and viewing audience is the benefits towards the everyday man and woman on the ground in terms of the provisions for additional jobs and or training. So what type of jobs would you say that will be generated through the installation of such a project as a solar farm and also the wind project?
So our project itself will be requiring both skilled laborers as well as unskilled laborers in order to put the development into place. So that means that we will have a need for electricians and journeymen and people like that, as well as operators and people that will be functioning to assist the various vendors, such as the PV mounting and the PV panels themselves installation. This particular development project will be a total of a maximum of 15 months, and that 15 months will require these resources. But also, we have a requirement from the island for local materials, such as concrete, cranes, civil works. So there'll be approximately 30 million Eastern Caribbean dollars worth of equipment and services that will be utilized during this project. So the total number of jobs that will be used in the 15 months is approximately 200 people that will be employed or needed to be provided for the development, as well as once the project itself is operational at the end of that 15 months, there will be 11 jobs. There will be 11 people on the site required to support the project itself for that 20-year period of time that I spoke of earlier.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Waters. And to you, Mr. Tippett, in terms of job creations as you conduct the installations of the wind farm?
Yes, so we estimate, so the majority of our construction force will come from on island, and we estimate the number of construction jobs will be approximately 50. This is a very large civil construction project involving very large foundations for the turbines, and then approximately 10 full-time in a kind of a management and operations and administrative mode, and there I think would be an additional long-term benefit that both through the construction and through the operations and maintenance, there will be very specific and very technical training that those individuals will receive. And in the case of construction, that, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis will have a pool of trained citizens that could be used for projects on other islands, and the same thing with maintenance and operations.
Okay, thank you very much. And particularly for the Department of Environment, the department that I work, one of the critical questions that I would like to get some sense from you is the timing of the project. How soon do you foresee the project to begin that implementation phase? As you would have recognized that when we submitted our NDC, these two particular projects were identified as mitigation options. And so we would just like to get a sense of the timing of each one of the projects.
Our project is ready to go. We have kind of some final things to conclude with Skellig, and we're, I would say, about 90% through that. Unfortunately, we did get a little bit of we got the same delay that everyone else got with COVID, but we're now back to getting the administrative things finished off with Skellig. The project has received approval to begin construction from the planning department actually for a while now. So I would estimate that within 6 months of finishing our administrative items with the utility, we would start construction, and the project would take approximately 12 to 18 months to come online.
Thank you. And Mr. Waters?
Sure. Our project has initiated its first phase, which is the vegetation or land clearing. Most, as they travel along Kim Collins, should be noticing that on the west side of Kim Collins, which is about 60 acres of the project, and on the east side of Kim Collins, about 40 acres of the project has already been worked on to be clearing the vegetation. That vegetation clearing then will be followed by an actual land grading. We'll grade the surface of the land to be able to provide the necessary water runoff so that we can begin installing the panels. So currently we have an expectation that we would have full notice to proceed by the end of this year. That would initiate that 15-month window, as indicated earlier. So the objective would be that by the Q1 of 2023, the project would be completed in its total.
Okay, thank you very much. And Just want to say, I'll give you the opportunity if there are any other additional information that you would like to share to the general public who is listening and viewing the particular activity now. Do you have any final words, Mr. Mark Tippett and Mr. Waters?
I guess I just would like to.
I just want to give my sincere thanks for the honor and opportunity to address the viewers and say congratulations on a very, very informative event.
Thank you, Mr. Waters.
Sure, I'd like to say I thank you and the team for the opportunity to participate, and certainly would be available for any other questions as they come along up into the start and the finish of this project. So please feel free to reach out to myself or anyone on the team, and we would be glad to answer those questions.
Okay, thank you. And also from our end as the host and representing the Department of Environment in collaboration with the Energy Unit, we want to express our sincere thanks to both of you. It's two projects that we are definitely looking forward to. And if there's any additional questions, we can reach out to you as you have indicated. And we'll now go back to the presentations and videos that have been pre-recorded from the various organizations, and we'll continue also with the presentations from the schools and the private and public sector. So stay tuned and do enjoy the videos.
Hello from the Bastille High School. For this science fair, we made a Tesla turbine to create hydroenergy. The use of fossil fuels has resulted in oil spills and the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Oil spills have severely affected aquatic life, which has resulted in the deaths of sea otters and many others. The emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere has resulted in global warming. Global warming causes temperatures to rise, which results in water shortages. It takes millions of years for fossil fuels to be formed, and as a result, it is estimated that their sources will be depleted by 2060. Hence, there is a need for alternative energy sources.
Hypothesis. The Tesla turbine is a viable method of generating hydroelectricity. It has high possibility of generating electricity. Aim. To find out if a Tesla turbine can be used to create hydropower.
The materials of this project are pressurized water, which we gained from a nozzle that pressurizes water to high pressure, the Tesla turbine, a motor which shall be acting as a dynamo, some rubber bands, some bearings, jumper cable, and that's it. For our methods of putting the Tesla turbine together, first we had to 3D print the Tesla turbine from STL files we found online. Then we assembled it using screws, 8mm threaded rod, some ball bearings, and some washers. Then we had to get our direct drive inline guide, which connected the 8mm threaded rod to the spoke of the motor. And then we put pressurized water into the Tesla turbine, which moved in a spiral formation out of each end, moving at very high speeds. And when it spun that, it spun the spoke of the motor, which when spinning and has reverse polarity, it acts as a dynamo, which we hooked up to a pin light that displayed light and showed that electricity was being generated.
Results. The Tesla turbine generated electricity, which powered a small light bulb. Analysis. The Tesla turbine utilizes the boundary layer of effect, which in effects drags the inner disk into a spiral motion at high speeds. This in turn creates kinetic energy. This energy is converted into electricity by the DC motor. As a result, the light bulb is powered. Conclusion. The Tesla turbine generated hydroenergy.
Future direction. The Tesla turbine, which boasts 95% of efficiency, can be a prominent alternative to fossil fuels. If implemented, could persuade the oil rackers to instead invest in a sustainable source of energy. In a case closer to home, Sinkis and Nevis can utilize their rivers to generate their own hydroelectricity, instead of investing in limited sources of energy. The turbine can be attached to the water supply of homes so that once water was used, it can generate electricity and store to use to power appliances in our home rather than using fossil fuels.
Yeah, you can stop it now. We're not
It's
ready.
lighting.
Oh, okay. I mean, it was.
Yeah, no.
It's losing so much pressure.
Oh, look. There's water squeezing out of the walls of your tank. Oh, there is so much pressure being lost.
Oh, yes!
Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind the tree. These little children are asking you to please come out so we can play with you. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun.
Did you know? The sun is the main source of energy of all life forms. Plants use it to make food. People use it to provide heat and electricity. Now, the first solar panel was invented in 1941. The charger fan with the energy from the sun. Our door-to-body pits solar energy. It's green, it's clean, and it's free. Managing our energy is our responsibility. You know, solar energy that comes from the sunlight is captured by solar panels. The solar panels then send the energy to the electric panels in our homes to produce electricity. The sun is the main source of energy of all life forms. Plants use it to make food. People use it to provide heat and electricity. Did you know that even though the sun is 19 million miles away from the earth, it takes less than 10 minutes for sunlight to reach to earth?
Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind the tree. These little children are at.
Hello everyone, my name is Shaya Manza and my name is Neham Polius. We are proud students of the St. Thomas's Primary School. The theme of our class tour is solar energy, and we call our creation the power of solar.
Solar energy means using the energy of sunlight to provide electricity, to heat water, and to heat or cool our homes. Sunlight is a clean and renewable source of energy. It is a sustainable resource, meaning it does not run out, but can be maintained.
The primary source of all energy on planet Earth is from the sun. Solar power is power generated directly from sunlight. Solar power can be used for heat energy or converted into electric energy. Solar power has many rewards for our planet, especially when it comes to our environment. From reducing greenhouse gases, improving our air quality, and saving our precious water. Solar energy can help to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and lower energy prices for years to come.
Today, solar cells are commonly used in small handheld devices like calculators and wristwatches. They are becoming more popular for buildings and homes as they become more efficient. One nice thing about solar cells or solar panels is that they can be placed on the roof of a building or home, does not take up any extra space.
Together, let us keep our environment clean.
and this year's science fair theme is biomass or biofuel.
The Kale High School will be looking at making hand sanitizer using citrus.
Using filter paper, filter funnel, and a measuring cylinder, 60 ml of citrus peel puree was filtered and poured into a 300 ml beaker.
40 ml of 96% ethanol solution was measured in a measuring cylinder and poured into the 300 ml beaker containing the filtered citrus peel puree.
40 ml of organic aloe vera gel was measured and poured into the 300 ml beaker containing the filtered citrus peel and ethanol solution.
The mixture in the 300 ml beaker was mixed thoroughly using the stirring rod and poured into the 75 ml bottle with a pump dispenser.
The 75 ml bottle containing the citrus peel hand sanitizer was then labeled. The store-bought hand sanitizer was thereafter relabeled as the store-bought hand sanitizer. Afterwards, one pair of unwashed hands was sanitized using 2 pumps of the citrus peel hand sanitizer.
Then the thumb of each hand were observed under the microscope before the application of the hand sanitizer and after the application of the hand sanitizer. That is the citrus peel and the store-bought hand sanitizers respectively. And the observations were recorded.
In conclusion, the citrus peel hand sanitizer is more soothing and relaxing than the store-bought hand sanitizer. And also, it is as effective as the store-bought hand sanitizer in killing microorganisms.
And we are back live in the studio as we are nearing the end of our virtual energy fair. I trust and hope that everyone who was able to participate and view the information has been well informed and basically enthused by the information and inspiration by our primary school in particular and our secondary schools. Here in the studio, I've asked Mr. Dinacio Frank and Dr. Bertha Brown to join me as we end our closing. But before I say thanks to the relevant persons who were able to make this particular activity such a success, I want to bring reference to a particular interesting activity that took place yesterday. It was a parliamentary debate with our students particularly and our young adults that debated on the energy policy. Dinacio, can you shed some light in terms of the activity that took place yesterday, please?
Yes, well, the St. Kitts Nevis Youth Parliament Association, they debated on 2 resolutions. One of them included the national energy policy, and they made very valid points regarding the implementation of energy in the Federation. And it, for the most part, it felt like a genuine parliamentary debate. They had the government, they pushed the idea of implementation of energy and the necessity of implementing renewable energy as well. And the opposition, they operated as the opposition, and they challenged the government on the implementation and the effectiveness of their implementation.
Okay, thank you very much. And like you said, because I was able to view a part of it, and I honestly thought that I was actually listening to a real debate. I think it is safe to say that we have some future politicians on our hands, so our country in a whole is in good standing in terms of politics moving forward. And now to Dr. Bertha Brown, do you have any closing remarks in light of the relevant activities? I know there was a duo competition, there was a science fair, and also Dinacio would have mentioned about the parliamentary debate. So I now give you the opportunity to express thanks to all those persons who were able to make these activities such a success. Bertha?
Yes, it's mainly to express gratitude to the persons and the institutions that help make Energy Month successful. I would like to start with the Minister, the Honorable Sean Richards, who is the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister responsible for energy. He was very supportive of us and the program of activities that we came up with. And then we formed a committee to organize the Energy Month, and I think I should name some, not some, but all of the persons who were on this committee. We had the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Darrell Lloyd. We had the Energy Officer, Dinacio Frank, Ron Buddy, who actually was the person who organized this event that we are having now, Paliana Daniel of Skelec, Janisha Hendrickson of Skelec, Patrice Harris of Skelec, Jasmine Hazel of the Water Services Department, Talgina Bratcher in the ministry, she works in the ministry, and Sharina Warner, who works in the ministry. We would also like to acknowledge the youth parliamentarians. They had a very enlightening debate yesterday. You spoke of it earlier. The Ministry of Education, and by extension, both the primary and high schools that participated in the competition. Those competition, we got judges to judge them, and I would like to thank those judges. And then we have the sponsors, CARICOM, Skelec, Leclanche, and North Star. So I would like to thank everybody who has made the Energy Month a success.
Thank you, Mr. Bertha Brown, and I also will extend my appreciation to the panelists, and special thanks also to Mr. Ron Body, who was the chair of this particular virtual energy fair. We recognize that for this particular activity, it would have been, prior to COVID, the intentions were for it to be face-to-face, but I think with the technologies that have now been afforded us, we are now in a position to present the information in a virtual energy fair. And I say, even as host, I was quite enlightened with the presentation thus far. So I want to express sincere thanks to the panelists, Dr. Bertha Brown and Mr. Dinacio Frank, who were representing the energy unit. We had Mr. Kenward Roberts of Skelec and Mr. Ian Ward of Nevlec. And we had what we call Mark and Mark, who representing Leclanche and North Star Development. We also definitely cannot leave here without expressing our sincere thanks to the ZSZ, who, without their technical support and contributions, would not be able to make this possible. And before we close, I just want to remind us in terms of the theme for this year, which was From dependence to resilience, fueling or recovery with sustainable energy. Each one of us has our part to do, and as climate change continues to threaten all of us, we strongly encourage you to do your part as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And in closing, I just want to say thanks again, and we'll now listen to the speech that was delivered by the Honorable Sean Richards at the beginning of the Energy Month activities that started at the beginning of this month. So thanks again for listening and participating in this particular virtual energy fair, and do have a blessed day. Thank you.
Fellow citizens, good day. CARICOM member states will be observing the month of November as Energy Month. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Post and Urban Development, through its energy unit and in collaboration with SCELEC and other institutions, will be taking part in this observance. The theme for this year is From Dependence to Resilience, Fueling our Recovery with Sustainable Energy. This theme seeks to highlight the significant role that energy must play in the attainment of sustainable development in the region and in our post-COVID-19 economic recovery in particular. It says that, to do so, the region's energy supply must transition from dependence on imported fossil fuel to the use of indigenous resources. In making the transition, however, we must ensure that the resilience of the energy sector to climate change is enhanced, while, at the same time, exploring and exploiting opportunities for climate abatement. If this strategy is implemented, our energy supplies will become secure in pricing and availability, and efficiently delivered to consumers through resilient infrastructures and operations. This will lead to a future of greater economic growth, social advancement, and environmental preservation. My ministry agrees with the message conveyed by this theme and has been busy making this transition. This is evident from the following projects and initiatives that are at various stages of development. A 33 megawatt solar farm with a 44 megawatt of battery storage in the Basti Valley, for which land clearing has already started. Ongoing negotiations for the construction of a wind farm at Bellevue. The pursuit of geothermal energy. The consideration of waste to energy. The ongoing project to replace all of the existing street lamps and playfields lighting on St. Kitts and Nevis with LED lamps. The construction of partially solar-powered desalination plants on St. Kitts and on Nevis by the United Arab Emirates. The ministry's collaboration with the Department of Environment on the electric school bus initiative. The development of our human resources in the energy sector through training. The implementation of a tariff to compensate consumers with renewable energy installations for energy that they feed into the grid. The development of an integrated resource and resilience plan to guide SCELEC as it seeks to achieve the vision outlined in the theme. The initiative by the Republic of China on Taiwan to assist the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in the development of renewable energy and its human resources in this area. A number of activities are planned in observance of Energy Month. A door decoration competition among primary schools and a science competition among secondary schools are already on the way. The primary schools have been asked to submit a video to social media of a classroom door at their school which has been decorated with an energy-related theme. The high schools have been asked to submit a video demonstrating an energy-related project to social media. The deadlines for the submissions are Friday, November 5th and Friday, November 12th for the door decoration and the science project, respectively. The projects will be judged on November 19th and 26th, respectively. In addition to first, second, and third places being assigned by a panel of expert judges, a prize will be given to the school that the general public has judged to be the best project. You are encouraged to like your favorite project under the hashtag number SKN Energy Month. On Monday, November 29th, the youth parliamentarians will debate the Federation's energy policy, and on Tuesday, November 30th, an energy fair will be broadcasted on ZIZ television and on social media. The energy fair will introduce several stakeholders in the energy sector to the general public and highlight their products and services. Also on the agenda are a yoga session at the Flow Grounds at 4:30 p.m. on Monday, November 1st. Appearances on Skelex Power Talk program on ZIZ Radio on Wednesdays, November 3rd and 17th. An appearance on ZIZ's Totally for Kids program on Saturday, November 13th, and a health walk on Saturday, November 20th. The health walk will start at 5:30 a.m. at the cinema at Buckley's and end at the third roundabout at Frigate Bay. Skelex Sports and Social Club will be selling breakfast at the end of the walk. I take this opportunity to ask each of you to support and participate in the activities of Energy Month and to support us in our attempt to make the energy sector sustainable and resilient. With these few words, I now declare Energy Month officially open. Thank you.
Our CARICOM, home to an eclectic mix of people and cultures, united by an abundance of natural resources, fueled by the sun and boundless seas. As small island developing states, we face the immense challenges of energy, economy, and climate. Our dependence on fossil fuels exposes us to price volatility, increases our carbon footprint, and threatens our social and economic development. CARICOM member states continue to endure extreme weather events which devastate communities and industries, decimate energy infrastructure, and undermine regional budgets. COVID-19 has placed additional strain on our economies and communities, exposing the many inefficiencies and inequities that exist, as well as the need to accelerate the transition to climate-resilient energy systems in the Caribbean. We at CARICOM Energy continue to work with passion and determination to secure a sustainable future for the Caribbean community. In collaboration with the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, key regional institutions, and our development partners, we are reimagining and re-engineering the region's energy systems. Our goal is to increase and improve access to modern, affordable, and sustainable energy services to the benefit of all Caribbean citizens, especially the most vulnerable. November is CARICOM Energy Month, and this year's theme is From Dependence to Resilience, Fueling Our Recovery with Sustainable Energy. We'll be showcasing the collective efforts to advance our region's recovery efforts, while emphasizing the critical role of citizens as we transition to sustainable production, delivery, and use of energy within member states. The month of virtual activities launches with our Energy and Water in Resilient Economies game show and the kickoff of Illuminate, the Energy and You lighting series, where we'll talk about how much lighting technology connects to our lives. Later in the month, the first cohort of the CARICOM Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program will host the 2021 CARICOM Energy Youth Forum. Then, we'll be celebrating some of the region's finest innovators working towards our sustainable energy future. Stay tuned for our SEM Personality Series. Next up is the 7th edition of the Caribbean Sustainable Energy Forum, which brings together key national, regional, and international experts and stakeholders within the public and private sectors and civil society. During CSEF, the International B2B Networking Event and Sustainable Energy Virtual Expo will provide a platform for regional and international institutions, companies, and project developers to foster bilateral relationships. Our Green Education Day will provide students with the academic and career guidance to capitalize on opportunities in the green jobs sector. We'll also host a virtual media workshop to equip journalists with the tools and information they need to deliver the news as it happens throughout the sustainable energy transition. Finally, be sure to catch the launch of the 2021 Energy Report Cards for each member state and come along on virtual tours of the soon-to-be commissioned CARICOM Secretariat Solar Plant and the Uimona Microgrid Facility. It's the first of its kind in the region. Join us as we disrupt, innovate, and transform the region's energy systems to advance our sustainable development. Visit caricom.energy.com to view the calendar of events. The future is now, and our transition is in motion. Join us on this journey.